What's up, YouTube? Balder here, and I am beginning the final descent into Salt Lake's airport. Salt Lake's airport is in Class B airspace, which is the busiest airspace over the US, and as a result, things are going to happen very fast, very quickly, and there's going to be a lot of communication. Anyway, still in the 737, that hasn't changed much. Just beginning the descent. I'm currently right now at 28,000 feet. Fuel is kind of a little low, but I believe I can make it to the airport. The winds are actually coming in from the north, which is good because that means I'm going to be landing over the city. There's not a whole lot of stuff north of Salt Lake. I used to actually live there. But yeah. Anyway, the 737 is a very cool plane. It is actually it's actually the most popular jet airliner in the world. I believe that the last time I checked, one takes off every 3 seconds from around the world. And that number has probably gone up since I last checked that. So it's a very popular one. It was invented in the 1960s as a way to take off and land on short runways and to be more fuel efficient than the 727, which was like that. It was also designed to take off on dirt runways, which I believe it still can, even on the new ones, and they keep upgrading it too. I believe they're going to continue to upgrade it. I heard they may have plans to replace it, but considering its success, I don't see why. But yeah, it's kind of a little cloudy in our descent. I need to watch out over mountains, things like that. And another thing that I have to be aware is that Salt Lake is at a higher altitude than most airports in the world, meaning that I am going to have to land faster than usual in order to maintain my lift, because the higher you are up in the air, the less air pressure there is, and the less air pressure there is, the more it's going to have an effect on your aircraft or on your lift. So you compensate that by gaining more speed, and I'll just have to show you when we get there. As of right now, this is kind of a peaceful moment. Let's see, let's just check the GPS, see where we're at. So, we're gonna go into terrain. Oh yeah, definitely in central Utah. This area right here, that's where Salt Lake is. That's where pretty much where 99% of everyone in Utah lives, in this area. That area too, but it's filled with a bunch of weirdos. Ask my friend who lives there. And if you see that right here, that is Class Bravo airspace. You can tell because it's a solid blue line, not like solid there. Those are restricted ones. You need quite a bit of permission to get through that. Not saying it's impossible with general aviation and civilians, but it's something that's kind of... It's an airspace that you don't want to be in without permission. You will get intercepted, and you will probably pay like a $5,000 fine or something ridiculous like that. The pink right here is a military operation area. That's where they test live firing. Also something you don't want to do. This blue dot right here is the same as this. I know for a fact that this is actually where they store nuclear waste. Yeah, corrupt politicians, but I'm not going to get political over that. So yeah, 29 nautical miles away. I am actually getting pretty damn close to Salt Lake. And considering the speed that we're going, he's probably going to make us descend. Alright, descend and maintain 15,000. And we'll go ahead, descend to 15,000. Another thing that has to be noted is that since the Earth, or since the Earth's crust, the continents, are on uneven ground, it's actually going to be a higher altitude. So each pilot uses these feet and meters, depending on where you live, above sea level. There is an above ground level, so it's important to know where it is. And I believe Salt Lake is 4,300 feet above sea level. So that means I'm going to have to descend to 53,000, or somewhere along the lines. Alright. Let's talk to the Salt Lake Center, contact them. Let's go with our descent checklist. Auto brake as desired. I'm going to send that to 2. Salt Lake has a very long runway. De-ice is required. I do not believe we need de-ice. I will turn it on as a precaution. You never know whether you might need it or not, so it's better to be prepared, especially when it comes to clouds, because that's where ice forms the most. With rain, granted. So yeah, de-ice is on, autopilot is as desired. I did that quite a while ago. Altimeter is set under 18,000 feet MSL. I don't know what the altimeter is, however, in-flight simulator, this is the altimeter by the way, you have to calibrate the avionics set, airspeed, I'll get to that. I already did it. Alright, wants me to turn to 330, so I'm going to set this heading to 300 and go with the set heading select. Now I'm not going off of the GPS. It wants me to go 340. Let's go ahead, and I just pressed the B key and it changed the altimeter. You need to calibrate the altitude, and that's in real aviation, to the barometric pressure. In this case, Salt Lake is going at a higher pressure than normal, which is good. It means that I can land at a slower speed. Kind of. That chatter. Oh, it's really high pressure today. Alright. Wants me to descend. One of the things is that once you get below 10,000 feet above sea level, you want to actually turn your landing lights on, and you also want to descend to at least 250 knots or slower. Turn right heading 015, runway 35. Alright, so we want to go ahead and turn 015, descend to 6,300. At this time, I am going to extend my flaps. Altimeter set incorrectly. Alright, so since I am going a little bit, let's go ahead and take a look. Oh yeah, we have plenty of time before we have to make make it to the airport. I'm going to go ahead and change that up a little bit. Contact the tower. So he told me that we're clear to the final approach. That doesn't mean I'm clear to land. But that does mean that I am allowed to, well, yeah, head towards the runway and begin the landing. I'm going to turn off my heading indicator. And I am going to go ahead and make a turn. I'm also going to increase my flaps to 10 because I am speeding up more than I should. Those of you who don't know, that is not the airport. That is. So, now that I'm at 10,000, I'm going to turn the landing lights on. I am going to do a 180, or yeah, 360 actually. The reason for that, and I seem to be pretty clear, don't want to fly into that mountain though. But the reason being is that I have too much altitude in order for me to actually get there. So what I'm going to have to do is that I'm going to have to turn, lead airspeed, and generally this is something you don't want to do in Class B airspace unless you talk to the approach prior to. So the altimeter is still going up, that's high pressure. What you're seeing right now is the Wasatch Mountains. I am quite below them. I am going to just down my descent and increase my flaps. One of the things that the flaps do is that it increases your lift.
Sink rate. Sink rate.
I know.
Sink rate. Sink rate.
Hell, I definitely scared the passengers on that one. So yeah, that's one of the reasons why you never want to do that.
Don't sink. Don't sink.
Now that I am losing speed,
Don't sink.
I am going to go ahead and get full flaps, bring my gear down as well. So right there, the gap in between two is called Point of the Mountain. Just to make sure that I'm going the right way, luckily I have my map, I'm going to complete my 360-degree turn, and then hopefully make it to the runway in time. Alright, so now we are on final approach. I didn't want to declare a missed approach because if I did that, then the tower would clear me into silver loops, but I will say this, I know I'm low on fuel. When it really boils down to it, what I just did is very legal, and I'm only doing this for simulator's sake. However, more likely than not, that's kind of what the tower would do. Fly pattern that would make you descend a little bit better, and more so, they probably would have made you descend out of Class B airspace. Also, another thing about what was I going to say? Another thing about the airport is that I do know that runway 37 is going to be that one, the furthest one to the right. They have 3 runways at Salt Lake Airport, and these green arrows right there are actually is what you call glide slope. I'm gonna disable autopilot right now. Climbing a little bit, I don't want that. Oh, God damn it. This thing likes to shove hints in your face. I could probably disable that in the there are plenty of planes that want to land. So I'm about on the glide slope. Since I'm not going to be able to see the glide slope, I'm going to press the W key. Well, after disabling the autopilot. And I'm going to run off of this that gives me all the information. So I'm going to go ahead, turn in. Right now it says that we're below the glide slope, and that is to be expected. Though not desired. So you see that red light that's on the runway, that means that I am below the glide slope. I need 2 reds and 2 whites. I'm getting 4 reds right now, so that means I need to stop descending. Or slow down my rate of descent. But once I do hit that set glide slope, that's when I'll start my descent, and that's when I'll go ahead and... Alright, so you see how that just turned white? I'm going to start descending now.
Don't sink.
I know you can't see what I'm doing, but this is kind of turning into a full-time job trying to get this thing to land, stay on the glide slope, and maintain speed. And why is there somebody on the runway? Okay, I am going to do a little bit of, no, wait, that's the wrong one. There we go. Yeah, I just had to get rid of that guy. So I'm staying straight on the glide slope, trying to stay in between the two markers, or in between the white lines. Alright. So going down, going down, going down. There we go. A little off center, but I'd have to say that was a pretty good landing. Let's take the auto brake off, spoilers down, taxi to runway Q. Let's not turn prematurely. So once you do land your airplane, that alright, 121.9. Anyway, the line that I just crossed, the line that is generally, well, the line that I had in the first video that was the hold short line. In an airport, after you land, you want to go past that hold short line and, you know, stop there. Then you want to contact ground. Press taxi to the gates and so you want to turn the strobe and the landing lights off. Go ahead and see if I didn't miss anything on checklist. So yeah, everything checks out. Alright, yeah, I forgot to acknowledge that. The nice thing is that you can turn on progressive taxi, and that tells you where to go. But I think for now that's it. So this is Microsoft Flight Simulator 10. I think I'm probably going to do a few more videos of this. I have seen a ton of Let's Plays on this thing, so I decided to go ahead and do this as well. As for my Skyrim Let's Play, I'm going to also do that as well. I'm going to finish the entire fucking game of Skyrim. Trust me, I will. Without a doubt. So you're gonna see plenty more of that where that came from, and since I just got back into this, then I'm going to, you know, play this as well. Flight Simulator 10. It is available at most software stores, or try Amazon if you can't find it there. It has a strong modding community, and you can pretty much get whatever plane you want. Anyway, my name is Baldur. Like and favorite this video, and if you like it, go ahead and subscribe. There's plenty more where that came from. Have a nice day.